My point is slightly different than a lot of other speakers. Right? I mean, I'm sure a lot of you have watched the movie Star Wars and then the subsequent series. So I think we are getting there. So within artificial intelligence and robot, actually driven, we are having a crazy commodity market right now as we are speaking. All right. Here, this is a disclaimer. Hope you can read it in entirety. So this is just a few commodities. Okay, I put in a few commodities. It's not completely list. It was as of a week ago, and you can see how much they exploded this year. Only 7 weeks into this year. Okay, I mean, a lot of those I can't spell, but I know tungsten. I mean, a lot of people are talking about tungsten, and you probably hear some juniors change their name to tungsten and then stock doubled, right? So it's happening right now as we are speaking. Actually, the gold and silver is a little bit off because it was last week. Right now, as we're speaking, as United States and Israel are attacking Iran, gold is 55. It hit an all-time high, 55 this morning, and dropped to 54 something right now. Okay, so it's very cold to the all-time high. But the rise of gold and silver actually, compared with all the other metals, is quite pitiful. Okay, and can you believe that there's a lot of people came to me after the crash of January, asked me, Chen, is this the peak of the gold and silver, especially silver? Is the silver finished? You know, if you look up, you compare with all the other materials, this is tiny. You know, they only raise very little bit. Right now, it's more maybe $90-something. So, but why is all the metals rose so much this year? Right? There's a multiple factor. First, many of those metals are critical metals, and then they're mostly sourcing from China. As you know, China is going through a crackdown of illegal export. And then they also, for environmental reason, quote unquote, they're trying to limit the production. So that's one. And then many of those are used in the weapon, in the military. So with the Ukraine war going on, with the right now Iran war, there's a huge demand for those materials. They just rose. They're just going through the moon. I mean, you can read all these. I mean, those are not exactly accurate because I've been quoting sources. Some you can get it on the internet, some you cannot get. And then like tungsten, they have like 10 different grades. So this is approximate. It's not really 110, maybe 100, maybe 120, but you get the idea. It doubled in 7 weeks, okay? So let's look at the other things. Sulfuric acid, it's a very simple, it's not a metal, it's just acid, right? Sulfuric acid is used to make fertilizers and happen also used in the battery, right? So it went through, even after the Russian stopped for their own reason, because they're fighting a war, stop export of the sulfide. It's going through the moon. I heard right now it's over here. This is a kind of old chart. I've just shown you how much it's been risen. The chart is over here. So for all these companies, junior companies, you are sending your ore. I talked to a lot of companies, they're direct shipping their ore. Your ore has sulfide in there, sulfuric acid, sulfuric ore. You should get a premium. You can, because sulfuric acid is so expensive, actually. That's why all these smelter fees for copper, for zinc, all negative, because they're trying to get this sulfide from it. So I'm just here. I'm very excited. We are just like the movie Star Wars or the other. You can imagine we enter a new period of human race, right? For thousands of years, knowledge is the king. Wisdom is the king. But now this knowledge, you can wisdom you can use AI to generate, right? And it's all coming back to material. So my point is trying to make is this completely changed for the past thousands of years human history, that we are really looking for material. Material is the king. Okay, you look at this. Elon Musk, look at he's going to make a lot of robot. Right? I'm hearing that in certain area, like in China, they still start using robot to make a robot. So that's a Rubicon I think we're going to cross very soon. So that you basically, for human being, you just have a robot on top of robot, right? And that's it. So what do they need? You need the material. Just like Star Wars, the most important business for the empire is mining. And my good friend, partner Jay Taylor, had exactly the same graph, just different color in his presentation. So it's coming from a good friend, Tavi Costa. So the point I'm trying to make is the mining is such a bottom, right? It's a few years back. It's not exactly 1% now, maybe 1.5%. But my point is, from here, mining going to be here. Mining going to be the most important industry for human history, right? In the full human race. So we have a huge way to go, So, and another reason why all these material went up so much, there are also rumors that United States is secretly accumulating those material prepare for future war, future weapons. So the talk in United States is we need 60 days of supply. And I think they probably need more as we going forward. So the silver, a lot of people, I caught silver 3 years ago, and so far has been great experience. And a lot of people ask me about silver. They'd ask, first they ask me, is silver finished? Or some people, smart people ask, better question is, what's the next after silver? But my point is silver is not finished yet, okay? We still have a long way to go. There's a lot of rumors, and some are not true, that China bans silver export this year. No, they didn't ban. Okay, China only lists silver as one of the critical metals. So in order to export, you need a license. Right now, it's open, very easy to get. But at a certain point, China can, if they want to limit export of silver, they could, right? So because silver is one of the critical metals, same as important as antimony, as well as others. And tungsten. Tungsten, you saw it, double this year. So what is, for my understanding, okay, I think if you think the silver is the only industrial metal, $40 to $60 probably fair value, because the most silver, we have a silver producer here. There are many other silver producing companies, small silver companies come here. Mostly their cost base is about $20 range. So for 40 to 60, in a few years it will balance itself. Right now we are running a little bit shortage. I can explain why. If silver is a critical metal, it probably support up to $100, okay? I know there's a lot of promoter tell silver will go to a few $100. It's possible, but without remonetization of silver, I don't think it's sustainable. Okay, so what happened if hypothetically silver goes to $200 and all the industrial users, including solar panel, right? There's a solar panel, you can make it without silver, like First Solar. And then also there's a roadmap in China, I look at it, that's actually they're going to reduce silver in the next 3 years. Actually, they could have very little silver in 3 years. So you see that if silver goes really high, most of the silver will be held by the investor. And then the investor, when they're at the top, they will sell silver just like Bitcoin. So it will crash. So I don't want the silver go to 300 and then crash down to 100. I don't know what experience will be, roller coaster experience. I'd rather have silver. Actually, I would love to see silver below 100 for most of this year. Because you can ask silver producing, we have producer here. You can ask David, and ask many other silver producers. The $80, $90 is very good price. They have very good margin. And right now, there's a lot of junk silver coming to the market, right? People selling old coin, even in the 60s, the coin has silver in it, right? Old coin and silverware, they sell into the market. So let those people sell at this price. I would rather and then let the silver user, industrial user, has the silver, so they can, continue using. So we still have a deficit this year. If silver really shoot up, the industrial deficit will be almost gone. So that's my thesis, and the monetization is very important, especially from China. So that's what I'm watching very closely. So I think without monetization, silver, this rather below 100 is very good. Close to 100 is very good price for silver producer, and also exploration company. So one of the most important day, I told you last presentation, I already inclined, I think silver would fall down. Actually, it came down very hard, much faster than I thought. So what happened in China, April 1st is the key day that they will stop export rebate, tax rebate by April 1st. So all the exporters of solar panel, they rush, they try to ship the last batch of solar panel right now, okay, before April 1st. So all the demand got pulled forward. So right now there's a shortage. There could be a squeeze. I didn't say it's not impossible, but after April 1st, the solar panel export will fall to a halt in China after April 1st. So the silver usage will drop significantly. And also, recently, if you see the market, okay, if you watch it closely, the volatility always leading. That actually, if you watch the volatility index, you can almost predict a consolidation or crash. This is silver, right? Silver volatility, you can see that the big volatility you want to see in the bull market, you want to see is price rise without volatility increase. That's a very good sign, okay? That's everybody making money. But when volatility goes up, usually means correction is coming. And then in January, the volatility went through the roof. That's what happened. There's a big drop, $50 drop of silver. That's a historical drop, right? So the silver volatility you need to pay is in Bloomberg station. But gold volatility, actually, there is a symbol called the GVZ. You can follow that. You can watch together. We can watch together in the coming days. And so you see, volatility goes up. Gold, this the blue line is gold. Volatility goes up, right? Gold initially go up, and then they consolidate. See, volatility drop, that's where you build the base. Yeah, and then volatility up is consolidated again. And then it went through the roof in January. Actually, that almost pinpoint the drop of the recent drop of gold. So that's something you should pay attention to for investor, for trader. And I'm a trader. So I don't like to see, such a big drop of the commodity that I own. So you want to watch those volatility. That's one way to trade it. Okay, this is one of my favorite silver stock, First Majestic. And then my subscriber knows I bought a lot of call options just last September, right? And then exploded. My number one holding, the call option almost 10x. I sold it and then bought a little bit February. I sold it now. So I'm out of the call option. I reduced the position because I don't see too much value there. Actually, it's getting a little bit expensive. You can see actually it's over 30 now. Actually, it's more expensive than when silver was over 100. There's another stock, used to be my number one holding in silver, it's called Core. And then September was here. I don't see too much value. So it's my number 3 position for silver. And then it dropped, and then with the new gold merger, it's going to happen in the next few weeks. I feel there's value here. And one of the attractiveness I found with the Core is that they have a lot of free cash flow coming in, at least $2 billion this year. Free cash flow, probably more. Okay, so and then because a U.S. listed company, they can potentially get included on the S&P 500. And if you look at it just on the free cash flow basis, Core actually trading at half of other big companies like Kinross and others, which I also own. So so basically, for mining company, the bigger, the more expensive. So I feel this is relatively cheap. Okay, so I've been adding it on the weakness, and then they'll go through the merger with New Gold in a few weeks, because on that moment, there will be a lot of index rebalancing. If you remember, Core, when they go through the merger with Silvercrest, also has a lot of volatility. That could be the opportunity for you to add a little bit more position. So this is, I'm more favorite on Core based on valuation. So I have a great year, and Avino, which is here, David was here last year, right? I Core Avino when it was $1. Of course, the quarter before that, the year was 40 cents or $1. I was pounding the table, and then last year was the #1 silver producer in America, traded in United States. We'll ask David to give an update. And there are also quite a few very successful company. So, and also one thing I want to say is, is the Trudeau, his policy really hurt Canadian juniors. So that artificially create a bottom that's so deep in the past down cycle. A lot of people wasn't expecting. But also good thing is, for investors now, as we're coming out of this bottom, there's so many interesting stock and so undervalued, and for you to explore. So this is the Core, of course, and this is my, I don't have too much time, so I just go through that. This is AI as a power. Okay, China has a huge lead of power, which means United States going to have to catch up with all the power. What the copper need, what power need is copper, right? You need a copper to generator, transformer, you need a transmitter, all need a copper. So this is the deficit for another commodity that I really like, it's copper. And then the copper demand, this is by S&P, and you can see each sector, electrification, that's 50% on new copper demand. So that's another big winner of mine, McEwen. Actually, I bought core option also around last year, September. It went up like as high as 15-fold, 1,500%. So that's the biggest winner for the core options. So I do deploy those leverage play because last September was a big breakout. If you look at silver, look at gold, like copper, everything breakout around September. So McEwen has both gold and copper. So the copper hasn't go up IPO yet. I'm waiting for the IPO to take profit. And when they come, I think in the next couple of months. So that's, again, my point is the critical metals is so important to United States, especially for the military. This is a game changer. And it's not just the rare earths, but also you can see the gallium, germanium, and copper and silver also in there. So that's why my point is the silver rally really isn't over yet. And then compare with other critical metal, silver really hasn't risen that much. So a lot of people really worried, this the end of silver rally. What my hope is silver stay around 100, if not below, for most of the year. Maybe I will be wrong again because Monday could be breakout it was up to 100, and I run a lot of time. Stay there to accumulate, to let industrial demand still exist, still take a breath for the industrial user. And then we have another deficit year for silver, and then we break out later part of this year. That's my hope, but I could be wrong. So this is my bottom, conclusion. I think with all the driven for the military, for the AI, for the robotic, we having a super cycle. We only in the middle of the super cycle. Okay, so a lot of people tell me when this will end. I think it will take quite some time, and it's probably longer than a lot of people think. There's actually, I have friends ask me panically, how do I sell my silver? I want to sell all my silver. Take it easy, right? So a good time still ahead. Keep your gold, keep your silver, most of the mining stock, especially mining stock, is so undervalued for Canadian after Trudeau's bear market.